Hello, everyone, and welcome to the House of Asher. I am your host, Stevie Asher, and I hope you guys are doing well. I'll get this out of the way real quick. If you want to learn about the podcast, other activities I'm in, including my latest book about reincarnation and near-death experiences, you can go to steveasher.studio, and it should link you to all of that information. And also, if you want to go directly to Amazon, where all my books are at, you can go there and look under Steve E. Asher, and that will take you to all of my books. And yes, I'm working on more as quickly as I can. Lots going on. Looking at some new, I don't know how to say it. Almost like a new life change, a new way of doing things. Trying to slow things down a little bit and focus on what's important, but also making sure to keep my money right. Dig. So, today, what I want to talk to you about is we are very near Christmas, and that's a good time. You know, everybody's ready for their bicycles, probably anymore. They're ready for their, switches and this and that, and different sort of hardware and whatever. There might be still a few kids looking for, hunting rifles or something like that. I think that's kind of fading out, at least in the bigger cities. But around here, a BB gun's still pretty cool. Things like that. Anything to kind of get the kids out there and keep them connected to the nature. That's kind of, how we are here. But anyway, one thing that most people don't think about now, unless you go into pre-Christian pagan beliefs, are some of the darker things connected with Christmas. The Krampus, for example. The Krampus is basically a counterpoint to Santa. Santa is super groovy and hands out toys, and most people know of the Coca-Cola brand Santa Claus with the Wink, which is kind of based on Odin, but I don't know if we're ready for that discussion right now. I don't know if I have time for that discussion right now. But there are sources now, especially during modern Christianity in various churches, you can talk to a lot of them, that make the claim that Christmas time is a period of heightened spiritual significance. And this basically can help provide strong reactions from darker, evil, malevolent entities or spirits. There was one exorcist diary that touched on Christmas season being a spiritual powerhouse. See, now we would sit and think, most of us, Yuletide and spirits and, whatever, be it the Grinch or the Christmas Story or whatever. There's some lesson learned there. If nothing more, well, I said a Christmas Story. I'm in A Christmas Carol, but yeah, you don't want to shoot your eye out either, so that tracks. But they do say that demons are particularly tormented by the message of this time. Now, there isn't anything really compiled. There's nothing that says that there's a surge in this type of possession, hauntings, stuff like that. Now, European folklore associated the winter solstice Christmas season with supernatural creatures and ghost stories. As I mentioned, the Krampus in Victorian England, but it can touch on general folklore and increased demon possession. Now, I would have to look it up. I could have sworn that old Spring Hill Jack was pretty busy in Victorian England, right around the same time as Jack the Ripper. I'm going to do a show on the connection between Jack the Ripper and Spring Hill Jack, who I believe he used a gas gun, which gas attacks that's a whole other story, was popping off where people were getting sprayed with some sort of noxious gas. It either made them sick, made them kind of incapacitated, where he could take certain liberties and do sometimes just goofy stuff, leave a rose on someone's pillow, to more nefarious stuff. And I won't get into that here because I don't want to get dinged by YouTube, because YouTube is so fun. But, if you want to hear more of this, I'm probably going to start up my Patreon before too long, and I'll talk about any darn thing I dang well please. Hallelujah. Amen. But there is that. And there's always that tale, from A Christmas Carol. It is a ghost story, people. Just like Die Hard is a Christmas movie. I will die on that hill. I will fight you to my last breath to defend that. But I'll get back to what I was saying. Sorry. Anyway, but again, Yuletide is full of spiritual significance, and you do tie into different type of entities, different type of energies, different type of mindsets. Not everyone is happy at Christmas time. I did a show just recently talking about superstitions in prison. That's a hard time. Some people, after I did that podcast, I remember this one, that it's good not to say goodbye in a letter at Christmas to somebody, because that means odds are you're going to get killed. There's certain things you don't do. It's like walking past a graveyard and whistling or something like that. I'm sure there's some reason that starts, but that's one of them. But if you go into other folklore, it ties in a little bit with Christmas, pre-Christmas, Germanic, and I'm doing air quotes, pagan faith, because everything's pagan to the new religion. There are so many winter creatures, so many things that will come to you, as like in these Grimm's fairy tales. An elderly woman, she needs help. Oh, a little girl's calling from the woods. There's a little boy. He said his foot stuck under a tree. He can't go. Come save me. Come save me. I'm so very hungry, sir. Can you please spare me something? Just a bite of your neck. Maybe not, but more often than not. And I hate to say that, because if I was a kid stuck in the woods, I would want someone to help me. And I would probably go, I'm not going to eat you, which is exactly what something that's going to eat you would say. So I probably would have froze to death. But here I am. So I love that kind of crazy stuff. I don't love that there's more darkness in the holidays. There is more thefts. There is more family violence. There is more assaults of all kinds during the holiday. Some would say, well, it's because increase in drugs and alcohol. That may play a hand in it. But if you're attacking people, you probably might be wanting to attack them anyway. And that's not saying that. I'm not even touching on addiction. We all deal with our own addictions and hang-ups. I've got them. You've got them, most likely. And if not, congratulations. You're somehow dodged the trauma bat. So here we are. But I want to hear what you got to say. I want to hear about anything freaky and weird that you had at Christmas time, holidays. I've had several people be listening to old records, listening to, this is back 8 tracks, okay, children of the new age. 8 tracks and LPs were the granddaddies of the ancient things, CDs that you probably don't know anything about. This is when we had physical media and listened to radios and had to listen to commercials. And okay, I'm sounding facetious, I'm sorry. But the point is, this is from a long gone era, but those type of electronic device connected items would sometimes pick up ambient noises. Some people believe white noise carries spiritual messages and things. And there's been several people I knew just growing up talking about hearing someone's aunt wishing them well. Sometimes it's disturbing. You might hear a child or, some very godly person call them and saying, I'm burning, help me. That's hard. This is the kind of stuff that, being a researcher, I don't call myself a ghost hunter because I don't hunt ghosts. I research hauntings, and sometimes it takes its toll. It is what it is. You get enough of that in your head and it stays with you. And that's my Christmas haunting. But I want to hear your stories. I want to hear your theory on this. What you think's happening. Why are these things like that? Why does this time seem to be a time of heightened spiritual activity? I think some of it could be, on one side, people loving each other, wanting the best for each other, wanting to make sure they get something sweet. They want Janie or Jimmy or whoever, if they prefer, to have their little dolly. this and that. Teaches them how to nurture things. Maybe, somebody's wanting a little bow and arrow set. They want to be a hunter like their brother or sister. Maybe they want that little laptop or whatever like that, so they can learn how to do this and that. Maybe you're trying to get your kid jumping ahead on SATs or whatever. That's going to be important in a few years, quicker than you think. But then there's also people that's like, what are you going to get me? Give it to me. Greedy, greedy, greedy. Chomp, chomp, chomp. I'm just a devourer. Useless eater. You know what I'm saying? Some of those. I definitely have known some. So, bottom line is, lots and lots of psychic energy. Lot of spiritual energy. Lots of visceral feelings all around. Good, bad, all over the spectrum. But I do want you to make sure to go to steveasher.studio and check that out. And please, leave your comments. Follow me there for this podcast, House of Asher, and I will be working on more History from the Dark Sides, fingers crossed, Lord willing. And also check out my new book on reincarnation and near-death experiences at Amazon under Stevie Asher. But go out there today, please. Take some time for yourself. Enjoy that sunshine on your face. Get a little bit of that vitamin D. Get, you know what I'm saying? And rebuild your spiritual batteries, please. Okay? At the end of the day, family is all that's important. At the end of the day, your mental health is what you have to protect. But as the shadows grow long and the sun sets behind the pines in a milky auburn mist, check your back room, check your hallway, check your garage, check your, whatever it is, your second garage if you're rich enough to have them. Keep an eye out, because you never know. There might be a Christmas goblin there. There might be a little elf. So put out some candy canes. There may be one of Santa's reindeer. Make sure to put out some corn, some oats, and if Santa's there, put some mead. Maybe put one out for me. Boom, boom, psh. But don't be afraid, because there's learning and fear, and it's all part of the human condition. But until next time, my dear, dear, sweet Yuletide friends, do try and stay scared.